On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Dudes that move in their emotions. Let me tell you this quick story. I got an uncle, right? He confirmed the story. We used to hear the story about him. His granddad, my great granddad, told him a man doesn't cry. So my uncle, when he used to get whoopings, he never cried, and they whoop him harder, and he never cried, and that was the legend of my uncle, right? Like he never cried, never showed no, and to this day he's kind of callous, cold-hearted, gorilla toe pimp with it, the whole nine. And what happens is you don't have a healthy way to release those emotions. It's all bad.
If you guys are just tuning in, welcome to Lapeef, Let's Talk, the greatest show on YouTube, on Earth. Fuck it, on Earth. Excuse my language, but not. Our next topic is men. Are your emotions in check? Are your emotions in check? If you guys look at the thumbnail, you've seen Sweetie and Quavo. And as the story unfolds, allegedly, the Migos jumped Justin LaBoy, which is the show that Sweetie was on, and she gave the talk about the threesome. Men, are your emotions in check? And the reason I ask this is because a lot of times when your emotions are not in check, you do things allegedly like attack the other person. Mm-hmm. There's no reason in the world why the Migos should be attacking Justin LaBoy for having him on the show. I think it's just it's just something about it. If you want to check somebody, you need to check the woman. Check the woman, not the guy. But I want to get you guys' thoughts about men emotions. Start with you, Courtney.
Okay. Men emotions are, I would say this, and this is what I think I've seen a lot. Men now they're super emotional. I think there's a reason being that majority of households, 70-80% are run by women. And so they're raising men. Unfortunately, women cannot raise a man. They need a father. They need a man figure in the home. Women raise beta men. Beta men are emotional. So are they getting their emotions checked? Well, how can they? What I've learned is that when someone comes off emotional, whether woman or man, emotions always supersede logic. So, looking at Quavo and how he's been moving, super beta, super emotional, not logical. So no, I think it's how men are being raised right now without a man in a home. They need that. A woman cannot raise a man. A woman definitely cannot raise an alpha man. So these men are very emotional moving in these streets. And again, they're not logical and thinking straight, not thinking about their brand, not thinking about how their actions will affect their brand. They're being emotional and not thinking. And so, no, they need to definitely get their emotions. They need to not be emotional. Men should not be emotional. That's a woman trait. That's a female trait.
But I thought you said you wanted balance.
Well, now, wait a minute now, JR. Okay. I'm trying to figure it out. Like, I love an alpha man. Don't get it twisted because, like I said, it brings out the best of me, the best of my femininity. I'm working on that. Okay. I'm a work in progress. But what I do know is that I don't want a beta because he brings out the masculinity in me, and then that brings on disrespect.
Say it again. You said the beta brings out the what?
Disrespect.
Anton, I want you to talk about these men and their emotions and why they're not in check.
I don't know, bro. I can't relate. I just can't imagine fighting another dude over something that your chick said on a specific show. And it don't align with me. I don't understand it. It don't make sense. And so I didn't even know that this was a thing. I didn't even know that they was out here scrapping with old boy and they were jumping people like they in high school, bro. What is this, man? And it's over a chick that you're not even with no more. Come on, fam. Like, that's simp behavior. That's corny. And that don't even make sense to me. So I can't relate. I don't understand it. It don't make sense. So I'm probably the wrong person to ask for this particular thing.
But if you had to get up, some advice, what advice would you give him?
If I had to give who some advice?
Men that are in touch with their emotions, or they respond emotionally without logic.
Men that respond emotionally will never be successful because it's all based off of how you feel and not based off of what the results are. Right? I always push people to stop focus on what makes you happy, instead focus on what makes you grow. Because happiness is subjective, and you can always find yourself in your emotions and your feelings and not becoming the person that you're supposed to be as a result of that. So chase growth, not happiness. Chase results, chase checks, not chicks. Focus on what your objective is. And people that lead with their emotions often find themselves compromising or being in a position in which they have to explain themselves or come back from something that they're not supposed to do, which i.e. fighting a dude over a chick that you're no longer with. But I don't believe in leading in any way, shape, or form off of your emotions. I believe that you should be strategic and intentional in everything you do. So it don't make sense to me.
Chicago Rella.
Yeah.
Men and their emotions. Let's talk.
Yeah, let's talk about it, fam. Listen, when I saw this, I thought about it. Actually, I thought about it another way. But again, I want to go back to Quavo real quick and something that Anton was saying. And, you know, when we having these discussions, I just think it's real important to separate what these celebrities do from what happens in real everyday life and how that applies to the everyday Joe Blow. Right. Somebody sent a text through and said, the Migos jump everybody. It's not just the Migos. All these shorties, nobody know how to take an ass whooping. Nobody know how to throw hands. Nobody know how to take a pumpkin head. There's no regulation in these streets. That's why you have these shorties shooting up everything, right? And so that's all based out of what? Emotion. When I first moved back to the crib and I started talking to some of these shorties, I started learning that most of these quote unquote gang wars that's happening is based off of Instagram beef because somebody said something about somebody mama on Instagram and I'm finna shoot up your whole block, right? So for one, when you said like they're jumping people like they in high school, Quavo and them not that far removed from high school. They might be what, 24, 25, and I get it. They're still a young adult, grown men, but they're just now coming into some form of maturity. And if all you know is you went from high school to traveling the world, getting money, you're still having this actor mentality that you still got to play gangster. Now, what I would say, and I can relate in a sense, because I've been on both sides of it in terms of responding emotionally to something, only to regret, like you can't get those words back. You can't take it back once you say it. It's out there. It is what it is. Or you do something super stupid. You can't take that back. You know, people find themselves in situations where you do something out of emotion. Now the law is involved, right? So men, I'm definitely not one to say that men shouldn't show emotion. They shouldn't respond out of emotion. But what I will say is go see a therapist.
I ain't never fought over a chick in my entire life, bro. Hey, and I'm talking about high school, out of high school, none of that, bro. And I'm just saying, man, your emotions is gonna be the downfall of you. And I don't care who it is. If it don't make money, if it don't move me forward, I'm not gonna engage, man. I don't need to be scrapping with a dude for any reason, shape, or form, because like me knowing that you can get touched just by me shooting a quick text message from the burner is enough. I don't even have to do anything to you. Ultimately, what I realize is that most people are moving based off of how they feel, and so you don't even know yet. You're gonna wake up tomorrow and look at yourself and regret what it is that you said, right? I don't even have to do nothing, so I let people come back from it. I don't even when it came to people that like was so happy about the whole Derrick Jackson thing. For me, I was just using them as an example of what you shouldn't do. But ultimately, I want him to win. Like, I want him to come back, stop being so simpish, and become the man that he's supposed to be. So people that move out of emotion, they angry, they hate other dudes, they hate when other dudes is winning, they unable to congratulate certain people when they're in their space. And I think that a lot of times you see that in the black community a lot too. People have that crabs in the barrel mentality. They don't want nobody else to win. They don't want you to be above them. And it's okay to be competitive, but it's another thing to be leading with your emotions. You often see that within our culture, and they're a reflection of it when you see this type of news breaking forth that they doing this type of behavior. It's silly, it's stupid, and it don't even make sense, bro.
Okay, so look, I got you, because when you say, hey, I've never fought over a chick, that's great. That applies to you. There are plenty of dudes that have. So what I'm saying is speaking to is the dude that have, and I could say I've been on the end where a dude approached in school, in high school, approached me to fight over a chick. I laughed in his face, right? I laughed it off, walked off or whatever. But at the same time, if another dude was there, I remember a time a dude was dirty macking me and I stepped to him. So those situations happen in real life. I know you were raised in a household with your dad and you had those male figures around you to undergird you.
You stepped to him over a woman, or you stepped to him over just disrespect in general?
Disrespect in general. Disrespect in general.
That's a
no.
I'm not,
listen, I'm old enough not to fight over no girl either. But what I'm saying is, and I'm even in school, I knew better than that. My uncle gave me enough game on that. But what I am saying is, I know these shorties, and maybe some of these cats, even some of these cats apparently that's watching this show now, will probably still fight over a woman, right? All day long, I gotta show my love for you, right? So my point is, dudes that move in their emotions. Let me tell you this quick story. I got an uncle, right? He confirmed the story. We used to hear the story about him. His granddad, my great granddad, told him a man doesn't cry. So my uncle, when he used to get whoopings, he never cried, and they whoop him harder, and he never cried, and that was the legend of my uncle, right? Like he never cried, never showed no, and to this day he's kind of callous, cold-hearted, you know, gorilla toe pimp with it, the whole nine. And what happens is, you don't have a healthy way to release those emotions, it's all bad. On the same side of that, if you releasing those emotions recklessly, it gets worse. So men do not, for me, I look at it like this. You said, do men have, the question is, men, are your emotions in check? I say no across the board, because if you're not emotional, I'm not talking about responding with emotion. I'm talking about if you don't have a healthy way to release those emotions with a therapist, with your homie, woman, in a safe space, man, what are you doing? You keeping all that bottled up. You keeping all of that bottled up, and guess what? Pressure definitely bust pipes, but that pressure gonna blow somewhere. And most times it's to the person right next to you that you love the most. That's all I got. Salud.
Salud. I can't wait till I can drink a drink again.
Black girl magic. We're working on it, T. We're working on it. You got to stay on it.
All right, you guys. If you're just tuning in, welcome to Lapeef. Let's talk.
Wait. I didn't get to answer that question.
Oh, you did? I'm sorry. My bad. Go ahead.
I want to answer that question because I do have a, experience with that. I believe that Migos or whichever one of those were a classic example of when men play like they're alpha, right? And what I mean by that is that they demonstrate this aggressive, oh, I'm the man and you ain't gonna disrespect me. And that's their way of showing that they like, oh, I'm the man, like I'm gonna be aggressive toward this other man and I'm gonna show him like you need to respect me and put him in his place. When they're the ones that I see straight through, like they're the men who are not truly in control of their emotions. And like Chicago Rilla said, a man does have to, they do have emotions. I don't know why people say that men don't have emotions. They definitely have emotions. Most men know how to control their emotions. And most men who are in control of their emotions, they exhibit that in a healthy way. They don't attack people based on emotions. They're more logical than they are emotional. And that's the difference. Like when I've taken tests in the past that determine how logical I am versus emotional, I'm way more emotional than I am logical. And then like I have men who've taken it, they're way more logical than they are emotional, but that doesn't mean that they don't have an emotional side. So for us to just, discount that is kind of ridiculous. I do understand that men have better control over in most cases. But these are the type of men who we're surrounded by. These are our followers. These are the people on Facebook. Those are the men who attack you with emotion all the time. This is the type of behavior. The only difference is it's not physical. It's verbal attacks. It's all these other attacks. So men definitely need to control their emotion. And men do not know how to. And it could be what Courtney said, that they're raised by women and they just don't even know how to channel that energy. They don't even know the way that men are supposed to react in certain ways, because they do react a lot like women, catty and very, you know, they want to fight just like what he did. They want to start stuff, and they don't really know any other way, to any healthy way. Because the men I know, if you say something about another man that you've never even met, right? Like you say something about another, that's like, men don't even do that. I'm not going to talk about you. I don't even know you. Like, a man don't even address other men in that way. So sometimes when I see the back and forth and the exchange, I already know, like, he playing alpha. That's what I say. He's playing the role, meaning he thinks that that's what he is, but really he don't have control over his emotion. He don't have control over any of those things. So that's what that reminds me of, those men who play like they got it together. And really, like, they, in the scheme of things, those little things, they hurt them. And then they start attacking people. And that's exactly what Quavo did. Those little things hurt him. He's a little crybaby, right? He was a little mad, and he was mad at the wrong person, because he didn't want to leave his woman. He probably don't really want to leave her, but he, you know, at this point he's embarrassed and he got to, right? Because like everybody was clowning him for whatever reason. But yeah, he, you know, he a little crybaby. And so now he, you know, him and his friends got to jump on this dude so he can get his his status back, his little power back. That's all.
Yeah. But see, I don't even think Amigos look like alpha. Like, absolutely not. I mean, they wear blouses. Like, I could see them wearing what I have on, the whole Prince joint. So, I mean, their persona is not alpha at all. So, like I said, I mean, an alpha male.
None of the young guys dress like, I mean.
Because they're majority beta. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're majority beta, but there's not a beta. You know, there's not an alpha man that I would see just walking around just with a blouse.
You think that the way somebody dressed determine whether they're alpha or beta?
I do believe the way that you carry yourself, what you put on, how you walk out the house determines how you feel about yourself. Absolutely. So, if a man is walking out with his pants sagging, a blouse on. So, you know, you're giving off what you think about yourself. And that's not.
I want to ask you guys about Prince. Somebody said Prince was straight alpha. You guys agree?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
No, how is Prince straight alpha? I mean, he's. I mean, I do like Prince, but there's not I know he's beta. He swoons women. You know, there's not alpha. No, he didn't command leadership.
Well, he was married to that 16-year-old girl.
That's a whole
his dancer. He was married.
So I was trying to figure out how
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he was an alpha. No. I don't know. I wasn't in there.
That's like saying, is Michael Jackson an alpha?
Look, according to Dave Chappelle, Prince is an alpha. Okay, did you see that? Dave Chappelle represented Prince very well. This is all we can go off of. Now, from that, I can say
we're gonna relax on the legend, man. Rest in peace to Prince.
Exactly.
Rogers Nelson.
That's fine.
According to Dave Chappelle, he has a say in this.
All right,
I'll leave it alone. In the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
I'll leave it alone.
I mean, I don't believe that what you wear make you an alpha, but I could be wrong, because I do think that some alpha men care about their fashion and how they present themselves, and some just like that's not important to them. They focus on other things. So I don't believe that that's
but when you see it, like when you first see it, you kind of look like, what the hell is going on? And then once you start unfolding the story, then it all makes sense.
Yeah, okay, look, let me ask you this. Would you say this? It's not to say that what you wear makes you that, but when you put it on, that's a reflection of who you are and what you choose to present and show up as that day.
Yeah. So
if you wearing chaps with your butt cheeks out, I don't know who's supposed to be looking at that.
Like, but you yourself even said, do not compare everyday people to entertainers.
1000%.
You said that yourself, and so I try to disconnect that as well because, you know, that's the difference, right? Like you're not gonna see just the average Joe Schmo walking down the street with his ass cheeks out. That's something.
Well, yeah, you will, because he got his pants sagging.
You gotta go
and to Courtney's point, let me say this real quick, Tawana, and I promise I'll let you finish. To Courtney's point, the guy that has his pants sagging, most of these dudes that's out here, to Anton's point, claiming alpha, they're overcompensating. That's not alpha.
Mm-hmm.
An alpha man, listen, it starts with the mentality. It's real simple. You know an alpha man when you're in the presence of one. Mm-hmm. It starts with the mentality. It starts with that leadership, his presence in the room, how he presents himself, how he commands attention. Now, that
they don't have to be overly aggressive and overly.
So it's dudes that overcompensate. Them dudes,
that's right.
Them dudes out west from where you at, over there on Madison and Pulaski.
No. I'm Southside all day. Don't disrespect me. I'm Southside all day. Okay, grew up in Inglewood. Don't disrespect me. Cause see now Inglewood gonna come out. You know,
come on, Shawana, bring her out.
Gonna come out now. Inglewood gonna come out. Okay, I am not from out west. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but Shawana is not. Okay.